I'd like to introduce the first paying customer, Yusaku Miyazawa.
I choose to go to the moon with artists.
まさか自分が行けることになるとは思ってなかったです。その今まで行った人っていうのは宇宙飛行士の皆さんばっかりなんで。
If we limit it to just this small group of people and control it and only let these military test pilots or these other people have the experience, you know, that's a waste. I think it's a waste of space.
Space is no longer just military, defense, and government. It's private sector, it's academia, it's innovative new research that can come out of unexpected labs.
All my friends were like, Leland, do you want to be an astronaut? I'm like, no, I want to be Arthur Ashe. This kid looked like me. When I was a child, I didn't imagine doing this just because I didn't see someone look like me, Neil and Buzz.
That's U.S. astronaut Leland Melvin.
In 2008, I launched on Space Shuttle Atlantis, and then in November of 2009, I flew my last mission, and it was the first time that two African-American men were in space at the same time. And I think that was a big thing for me.
And now, the Tom Joyner Morning Show is in space.
We were interviewed by Tom Joyner, who has 1 million listenership in the Black community.
For the kids down there, you know, they can achieve and do anything they put their minds to if they believe in themselves, stay determined, and anyone can do this job as we've shown.
There are kids to this day that tell me they heard that transmission, and now they're in aerospace engineering. They're getting their doctorates or they're getting their masters.
When we think about going into space, you can't have a narrative that is inclusive and then also have an enterprise of space exploration, of science and engineering that has for so long been exclusive. For many years, women, people of color, have not been welcome in STEM fields. And that's changing now, but progress is still relatively slow, especially for people of color.
If you go back quite a ways to NASA Langley, and you had this woman named Katherine Johnson who calculated by hand the trajectories to get John Glenn to space. And if you think about the racism and all the isms that were going on then that might have kept her from being that person, maybe we wouldn't have made it to space without her efforts.
My name is Dr. Mae Jemison, and I had the distinction and the honor of being the first woman of color in the world to travel into space. I do remember as a little girl that the Russians sent up a woman. And so there was no way anyone could tell me that women couldn't be astronauts, that women couldn't go into space. In fact, a lot of people thought when they were coming up with this job of being astronauts that women would be better because women were smaller, so there'd be a smaller payload. They didn't have heart disease to the same rate as men did. And a lot of folks thought that just frankly, women were psychologically better prepared for the isolation and the stress to be astronauts than men were. When I went into space, I wanted to take other people with me. I took up a Bundu statue that represents the Women's Society in West Africa, a poster of Judith Jamison performing the dance Cry for all Black women everywhere, an Alpha Kappa Alpha flag, the oldest African-American women's sorority. I wanted to include others. I think as we move forward, the more you have non-governmental organizations working on this, you probably get more accessibility because you have different goals. But we have to understand what that means. Is it accessible if you have $200,000? Is it accessible if you have $1 million?
We really want to dramatically lower the cost of access to space. We want to see millions of people living and working in space.
NASA and other organizations that could send people into space weren't interested in sending people like myself into space. So in the end, I thought, screw it, let's do it. Let's build a spaceship.
I think that would be amazing to have a base on the moon. It's like the average person, if they saved up, could go. That would be incredible. And that's like the kind of thing we want to do.
First stage into the full power.
I'd like to introduce the first paying customer, Yusaku Miyazawa.
You can call me MZ.
Nice. Art collector, rock musician, billionaire online commerce tycoon, and now
I choose to go to the moon.
それはもう自分のアイディアで、何人か連れて行けるっていうことがスペース X さんから提案があったんで、じゃあどんな人連れて行きたいかなっていう中で、自分だったらアーティストを連れて行きたいっていうことで提案したら、今回自分がやりたいこととして、地球上の皆さんに地球がいかに綺麗かっていうのをいろんなアーティストの言葉で伝えてほしかったんで、アーティストを連れて行こうと思いました。 あとジョン・レノンが行ったらどんな歌作ったかなとか、そういうのは思いますね。一緒に行くメンバーはなるべく世界中の人にしたいんですね。
But the trip is not without risks.
It's dangerous, to be clear. This is no walk in the park here. When you're pushing the frontier, it's not a sure thing. Whenever it's the first flight of something on a new technology, and we're talking about deep space, you have to be a very brave person to do that.
For trips to the moon, I think SpaceX is actually doing a really interesting tactic here by making their first lunar roundabout be a crew of artists, right? So it's a way to get a kind of non-traditional population access to this incredible environment.
Ariel Ekblaw is the founder and lead of the MIT Media Lab's Space Exploration Initiative.
The Media Lab is an interdisciplinary research and development department at MIT. We get artists, designers, engineers, and scientists to hack with us. We have this open-mindedness towards who we should be including in the future of space. We're now seeing the ability to create cube satellites for about $5,000 that empowers us to do all kinds of creative things where we can say yes to an artist, yes to a young high schooler who wants to work with us. We're doing it through makerspaces, through public libraries, through schools, with a spirit of reaching a much broader population and getting them involved in building for space.
There have been 452 American astronauts that have flown with NASA. And that's a small number of people when you think about all the people in the world.
I can't believe I was not on Mars or at least the moon when I was an astronaut. And in our failure to include others, we sort of lost some of our energy and our zest. We need to be pushing further, pushing harder. Space has to be audacious.
Do you ever come across people who are maybe a little confused or skeptical about you wanting to do this project?
まあだから分かんないことにチャレンジすることに意味があるんじゃんってこう返しちゃいますね。分かることはもうみんなの想像の範囲だと。分かんないこととか常識を外れたことに誰かが挑戦するから新しい時代とか新しいものが出来上がるわけで、非常識なことにチャレンジして何が悪いんだと僕はいつも思います。